Well, this morning we are continuing to teach on the spiritual disciplines that have strengthened Christians for generations. 2 weeks ago, you'll remember we taught you about Lectio Divina, that ancient practice of reading scriptures where you listen for the word or words God is speaking to you in that moment. Last week we taught you the prayer of St. Ignatius of Loyola, his daily examen that he used in order to reflect upon each day and find those moments where God spoke to him. And this morning we're going to teach you about the ancient practice of fasting, a spiritual discipline that is so formative it is spoken of in just about every major religious tradition. In fact, fasting is one of the few spiritual disciplines we know for sure Jesus took part in, because the scriptures tell us he went and fasted for 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness. In fact, fasting is so prevalent in the Bible, it is spoken of more often than baptism. But what exactly is fasting and why does it matter? Well, fasting is when a person chooses to abstain from an action for a certain season of time. Fasting is different than quitting. Quitting is when you give up something for good. Fasting is when you stop something for a time period. Now, most often in the Bible, when people fast, it comes in the form of giving up food or drink. But there are other things you can fast from as well, including technology or personal habits. In recent years, it's been common to talk about the physical benefits of fasting. People will tell you that intermittent fasting will help you to lose weight or stabilize your blood sugar level, all of which might be true. But in the Bible, fasting was not used for physical benefit. It was used to strengthen the soul. And how does it do it? Well, the first thing fasting does is fasting reminds us that not all physical discomfort is bad. In fact, we live in a world that constantly tries to sell us convenience, tries to make things easy for us. But fasting is a reminder that sometimes our greatest growth comes in times of struggle. Fasting is a form of voluntary hardship, where we take on voluntary struggle, and it prepares us for those moments when we face involuntary hardship, those moments when we do not have a choice as to if we are going to face difficulty. In his book, The Celebration of Discipline, author Richard Foster says this. He said, "The first truth that was revealed to me in my early experiences in fasting was my lust for good feelings. It is certainly not a bad thing to feel good, but we must be able to bring that feeling to an easy place where it does not control us." Fasting, it reminds us that not all discomfort is bad. The second thing fasting does is it helps to strengthen our will. Many psychologists believe that willpower is a muscle that can be trained. The more time we put into strengthening our will, the more temperance we develop in our life. In fact, it's not uncommon for a person to complete one fast and to continue on immediately into another fast. And each time it becomes a little bit easier. Fasting is a form of spiritual boot camp as we continue to grow stronger in our willpower and our ability to attend to God's will. Thirdly, fasting helps us to be in touch with our deep sense of gratitude and dependence on God. When you fast, you learn not to take things for granted, and you learn that everything you have in this life is a gift God has given us. Just as God gave to the Israelites manna in the wilderness and quail in the evening, God provides for our daily needs. Fasting allows us to see that in new ways and to appreciate that in new ways. It can well up within us a deep sense of thankfulness, and that can spill over into other portions of our life as well. Lastly, fasting is helpful because it puts us in solidarity with those people in the world who are struggling or who are experiencing hunger. Only when you are hungry can you truly empathize with someone else who's hungry. Only when you are struggling can you empathize with someone else who is struggling. Fasting is one way where we not only connect ourselves to God, but we connect ourselves to each other. Now, how do you fast? Well, when you begin a fast, you must determine two things: what you are fasting from and how long it will last. You must make these decisions ahead of time because, let's face it, you can't trust yourself when you're hungry. You need to be able to challenge yourself to continue to go on in your fast. The second thing you must do when you begin a fast is decide what you will replace in your schedule, the thing you are abstaining from. Fasting creates a void, a space in our daily routine. And left unchecked, that space will get filled with something else. So make a decision as to what you want to do. Do you want to pray more? Do you want to read your Bible more? Do you want to use this time in order to connect with others more? Lastly, every fast must come to an end. In fact, we see this in Jesus' life as well. He spent time fasting, but then he would turn around and spend time feasting as well. He went between the polarities of celebrating God's abundance and also going through a time of holy withdrawal. And so we do the same in the church. We fast for a season, and then we feast for a season, celebrating that everything we have in this life is a gift God has given us. Last week, I called a friend and I asked a favor. I said, "Jacob, I need you to do me a favor for the next 24 hours. I said, if anything crazy in the world happens in the next 24 hours, will you just send me a text message? Because I'm signing off the internet." You see, I realized that for the past 2 weeks, I've been checking CNN.com and WRAL.com and thepilot.com every 15 minutes. And it was beginning to get a little bit heavy. In fact, I was feeling overwhelmed by the amount of news I was receiving. And it was beginning to distract me from my daily life, distract me from the people who were closest to me. And so I asked my friend to keep me informed, and then I withdrew. I signed off. I deleted the Safari app on my phone and my iPad, and for the next 24 hours, I was away from the world. Now, I didn't say that way, but that season of fasting, it strengthened me. It allowed me to return to the world with a new and renewed spirit. That's what fasting can do. It gives you the strength you need to keep moving forward. So Pinehurst United Methodist, as you go through this week, I would challenge you to find one thing to fast from. Remember, it is God's way of strengthening your willpower, reminding you that not all discomfort is bad. It's a way of welling up within you a sense of gratitude, and also it's a way of putting you in solidarity with other people who are struggling. Fasting is something that Jesus used to prepare him for his challenges, and we too can use it to prepare us for ours. May God bless you and protect you in the week to come.